Good morning. Happy Monday. Happy Monday because I am going to get this out today. I am sitting outside in a hoodie with my second cup of coffee. It's just after 7. We just got back from our big trip. If you're just tuning in for this chat, you can check out the vlog. We just got back from a trip to New Jersey for a motorcycle and vintage car race on the beach. It was wonderful. I'm about to post the vlog from yesterday, our trip back home. It was kind of chaotic. Lana was just not about the car ride. She was not wanting to be in the car. After a long, beautiful, connective weekend with her parents, just her, we got we got to pay full attention to just her. And it was really, really very special, which inspired us to kind of want to start doing that with each of the kids. Maybe like not super often because that's just not going to happen. We're kind of busy and refuse to be more busy than we are for, just to keep our peace. But like once a month, taking one of the kids out on a trip and just really connecting with them because they are all like they are our kids collectively, but each of them are their own individual souls, people, and they're so different, and it's quite beautiful. So it was really nice to see Lana and get her to open up, and she's like a whole new kid when she's by herself. We really got to see her personality, and it was really beautiful. I feel like one of the kids is out here and they're gonna scare me. But anyways, so that was really nice. And then when you have a really, a good bond with your partner in your marriage, it's like you enjoy hanging out, and then the plus one is your own kid who you love unconditionally, and it's just really a cool group of people. So the 3. So anyways, I tried to get this scripted and get this out to you before I even took the trip, so you guys could have this for the weekend. But I actually wrote up a completely different script, which was inspired by Lane and her just picking up reading with, learning how to read through sounds of letters instead of teaching her, what the letter is called. Like it's not an L, it's a L for Lane. And then the science that goes behind learning, the phonetic, like the sound of the letter, and how that makes it easier. But I just wasn't connecting with that. So I wrote it out, and it was just too similar to my first podcast, my last mom chat, which was, kids and reading and unschooling and all that. So I ended up going to post it, and I was like, meh. And I just don't want to half-ass this. I want to give this all of me, and it just wasn't what was supposed to come out this week. So the topic today is actually not that. The topic today is what I say when someone questions my unschooling decision, our unschooling life, just the term unschooling, the fact that we don't do curriculum, we don't do book work. I don't make my kids do this and that, which rarely comes up because when you're a mom of 3, especially, like sometimes I like to have these deep conversations, these philosophical conversations with complete strangers who have these unsolicited opinions, like my life is some sort of debate or conversation for them to even, be part of. Sometimes it's just fun. I'm just like, ooh, yeah, let me throw some philosophy on this lady or this dude. But most of the time I'm just out with my kids doing a harmless errand, and I just don't want to ruin my peace. I don't want to upset someone, by communicating with them my life choice, because that's a thing. That's a thing that happens. People get really hot and bothered. And I think it's less to do with us, obviously, but it's more so to do with them, and all of a sudden they're like, wait a minute, and they're like rethinking their life of like, oh my gosh. And then when they rethink their life and they know that they haven't done the thing that you're doing, it just sparks this like aggression. And it's in so many different things, like the way we eat, the way we decide to work out, the places we, decide to live, the political stances that everybody has. Everybody's different. And if you, in my opinion and my experience, when you challenge someone's opinions, it really upsets them. Instead of, there are only a few groups of people that can really, be open-minded. And that's something that I'm always working on. Sometimes I catch myself and I'm just like, oh wait, I'm not being open-minded. And I have to remind myself that everyone is allowed to think for themselves. And everyone does think for themselves. And the fact that we all have different opinions is proof that we're all thinking for ourselves. Example, political views on a farmer in Kansas and a 21-year-old woman in New York City. They're going to be different. And that's so beautiful. That means that we are thinking for ourselves. And when we're not thinking for ourselves, everyone is showing up to, the beach with the same bag because it's trending, because they're being heavily influenced and marketed to. In my opinion. You know what bag I'm talking about. So anyways, back to the topic. Holy little rant. I am on my second cup of coffee, which sometimes sparks some beautiful, chaotic conversation with you guys. So anyways, this question does actually come up quite a bit if I decide to communicate that we unschool. But usually we just say we homeschool and then we just keep walking because I don't have time for that. So this has been something that I have struggled through this this response, when people are like, oh, so like, just recently, probably like 3 months ago, someone asked me like, oh, so how do you how do you keep all that straight? Like, are you homeschool? Like, how does that work? Like, do you have to like report things and like, do they like send you stuff? Like, how does that work? And they're just like, that's just out of curiosity, which is a beautiful thing. And that's exactly how people learn. And it's literally unschooling, is just being curious and asking and digging in. But when you're new to this, which I'm kind of new to unschooling, by defining ourselves as unschooling, but technically my opinions of unschooling is just being a mom, being a parent, being open-minded. So that's been a decade. But in, having a school-aged child that you people ask about this topic, 3 years. And I'm just now confident. This is my first year fully confident in my decision of like, yep, this is what we're doing. And I trust it. And I've seen the outcome. I've seen the little outcomes and the flow happening. So anyways, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, I am glad that you are stopping by for this topic. It's a good one. It's important. Around here, we talk about things: motherhood, intentional living, and of course, unschooling. Today, I'm going to talk about something that comes up for, a lot of us who are walking this unschooling path, whether it's from a well-meaning family member, a curious friend, or just somebody at the grocery store. And that look, wait, so your kids don't go to school? Like, how are they learning? Like, you don't give them curriculum. I don't understand. So today I want to tell you what I say, mom to mom, parent to parent, when someone questions our unschooling methods. And more importantly, I want to give you the heart behind why I say it. So here's the phrase that I come back to again and again, and it actually came from one of my really good friends. And this is someone who's also unschooling. And she just has the most like grounded, calm presence. And she says simply, we are learning intentionally at our own pace. I don't know if when she told me this, I don't know if she actually says intentionally. I'll have to ask her what she says again. But I know she said, we are learning at our own pace. Because we were actually having this conversation of like, what do you say, And I forgot I was like, okay, yeah. People ask and we just say, yeah, we're doing this. It doesn't work for everyone, but it works for us. And then she was like, oh, that's good. I also love what we've been saying. And I was like, well, what have you guys been saying? And she says, we just say we are learning at our own pace. And I was like blown away. I was like, that is good. That is perfect, because that is just right to it. And I just love that. And I've held on to that ever since. It's simple. It's true. It gently redirects the conversation away from fear and just back to trust. And that's it. There's no explanation. It's just matter of fact. Because here's the thing. Unschooling isn't about the absence of learning. It's about the presence of intentional learning. It's rooted in curiosity and real life. We're not just floating around hoping that the kids are magically absorbing algebra or how to write, an essay by osmosis. No, we're living this life together. And when something comes up, when a question is asked, when a challenge is faced, a goal is set, we dig into it together and on purpose. So the next question that I usually get following that first question. So, like, how are they going to learn what they actually need to know in life if you guys aren't doing curriculum or schoolwork or bookwork? And that's a fair question. We are so deeply conditioned. Okay, so that's just natural curiosity. It's a big one. And I answer it with calm confidence. Now, and this is recent, so that's why I'm communicating it with you, because it took me a while to get here. So if I can help anyone, surpass the tripping over their words, I'm going to do it. So I hope I can at least help one of you. This is what I say. And just listen to this. Everything they need to know in life will naturally come up, yeah? And when it does, they will learn it intentionally and at their own pace. And just let that sink in for a second. Now think about how we as adults learn. When we need to file our taxes for the first time, we figure it out. When we need to or want to cook something new, we look up the recipe. When we're changing careers or building a business or learning how to fix something around our house or our apartment, we don't just sit in a classroom and memorize a list. We do it. We research it. We ask questions from others who know how to do the thing. We get on YouTube. We try it. We fail. We try it. We fail. We try it again. So that's what my kids are doing every single day. And anybody really who unschools, to be fair, they're learning how to learn. And honestly, that's the most valuable skill that they can have. And yes, sometimes we do dig deep. We dive deep into research together, like structured research. We look things up. We watch documentaries. We Google like crazy. We follow their interests. And when they hit something that's tricky or complex, math, writing, history, we don't run from it. They don't want to run from it. They don't want to give up and be like, oh my gosh, I'm done with this. This is school. I'm bored. We lean into it because it has context. It has meaning. And it's not just a subject anymore. Not for my kids. It's a part of life. And we're only researching it because they asked. They were so into it. It is so interesting that they are leading me And I'm learning new things that maybe I learned in history for a test somewhere along the way and I forgot it. It's long gone. I don't need it for the test. It's long gone. And I'm learning these things and it's interesting and it's so magical because it has context. It's real. It's part of life. So if you're unschooling and you're getting these questions, especially from people close to you, and that's where you need the most community, connection, support, love, and I get how hard that is. But you have to remember these people are just usually in my life, the people that are close to me, when they're asking you these things, they are only speaking out of love and support because they care about you. They don't want you to mess up your kids. They love your kids. So they're like questioning you. And that's, So especially from the people that are close to you, when you're getting these questions, I just want you to know and remember that it's okay to respond with love, with clarity, and with calm. And to remember that you don't have to defend or justify your choices to anyone. But when you do speak about it, you're allowed to speak from a place of intention and just lean into that space of intention. We are learning intentionally at our own pace, period. And that sentence holds so much truth. And it reminds me too, on those harder days when, that doubt creeps in, that imposter feeling creeps in, that this path is working. It's not just loud or linear or test score driven. It's real and it's enough. And also the fact that I question it and you might be questioning it, that's good. That means you're questioning yourself. That means you're thinking for you're actively thinking for your own self. And you're making sure that this path still aligns with your life. You're allowed to do curriculum, by the way, on an unschooling journey. If your child communicates or they're struggling or they're embarrassed because they couldn't do a simple math problem in front of their 7-year-old friend or something like that, they'll communicate that with you. And then that's where the conversation happens of like, well, maybe we could do a math curriculum to learn the basics. That way you can more easily do these money problems when you go to do your lemonade stand with your friend this weekend, or just, be able to do this quick multiplication to better serve you in your money journey, or this, that, and the other. And that's a conversation. And then that makes sense to them. And then they'll go forth and do whatever feels right to them. So that's about it for today. Thank you guys all for spending a few minutes with me today on this beautiful, beautiful Monday. For those of you who already checked out the blog version of this, thank you guys so much. Did the blog first because I could sit with a sleeping baby and write out the blog before I could full on record this. As you can see, I'm home with all the chickens, talking to me. I was going to say something else. Oh, I will leave the blog and the podcast version. So I'll leave the blog version if you prefer reading, or you want to read it again or send it to a friend or save it below in the description. I will also leave a description for you to listen to this on Spotify if that works better for you, or to send it to someone who could really resonate with this, because I know this is such a hot topic. If this encouraged you, or if you've got your own version of how you answer this question, I would love to hear that in the comments, and other people would value that, so definitely tell me what you say to people in the comments, please. We are in this together. Remember to trust your kids, trust yourself, and remember that learning is happening even if it looks different. So sending you love, and until next time. Oh, and by the way, before I say goodbye, I want to try something new. I don't know if this is going to work. I don't know if anyone's going to vibe with this, but if you have a beautiful story of your unschooling or homeschooling journey, not specific to unschooling, a homeschooling win where you're like, dang, my kid just learned that all on their own. That was awesome. Or a funny homeschooling story, or a relatable homeschooling story, or even one that you just need community, like a sad one, where then maybe the tables turned and it turned out good, a happy ending. Would you please email that to me at dirtyhandsbarefeet@gmail.com? I will just like put my email in the description as well. I want to maybe do like a monthly story time where I want to like bring you guys into the conversation and just share stories, because that helps me time and time again, other people's stories. Or maybe you've unschooled your kids or homeschooled, child led, and now they're older, or now they're 18 or an adult, or they have a family of their own, and you can just be like, look guys, you don't need to stress out. Like, I was homeschooled and then I unschooled my kids and they turned out just fine. And so that kind of just takes off the edge of us newer homeschooling, unschooling moms. And so then other people can relate to that. Other people can lean into that, find comfort, value in that. And so if you have a good story, short or long, email that to me. I will put that into a little compilation. And just once a month, maybe, depending on how many stories I get, or as we build this. And it could be anything. It could be from yesterday. It could be from 2 years ago, whatever. I just want you guys to send me that story. I would love to hear it, read it, and have other people hear it, read it, and comment about it, and just build sort of a community around here. So send me that. I would love to hear that. And until next time, happy Monday, guys. I will talk to you guys in the next mom chat. Thank you so much for listening. Bye.